Hey there, it's Rachel Mullins, the host of Hashtag No Filter Fridays on Public House Media.
Hey, it's Baxter Colburn here from Public House Media. Did you know that we just added a store here at Public House Media? No, I'm not talking about a grocery store where you can go buy apples or bananas or peanut butter, which are all fantastic, especially when peanut butter's on all of those. Anyway, we've added a store here at Public House Media so you can not only come and represent your favorite podcast network, but also represent your favorite shows as well, too. Just go over to thepHmedia.com and look in the top right corner where you'll see the button that says Store. Click on that and you can search through all of our great products. Or if you go to our Facebook page, Public House Media, you can see on the left-hand side a tab that says Store. All of our products are listed there as well too. It's the new Public House Media store. You don't want to miss it. It is fantastic. Buy some of that great swag to support your favorite shows and to support Public House Media. Check it out today.
Hi, this is Emily.
This is Lindsay.
And this is Elizabeth,
co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Once you are done with this episode, we hope you'll come check out our show, Beauties and Headcanons, where we talk nerdy to you about fandoms, fan fiction, and all pop culture for nerds that you can think of. A new show comes out every Friday.
Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Everyone. Thinking will not overcome fear, but action will. That's a quote by W. Clement Stone, and I love it because today we're going to be talking to you about overcoming fear. Last week, or last episode, we talked about fear is the number one excuse, and today I want to talk to you about how to overcome that fear. Good morning, my name is Kim Meyer. Welcome to Choose to Rise right here on Public House Media. I'm so blessed and honored that I get to speak my voice and you get to hear it, and even more blessed that you share this episode, these podcasts, this station with so many others of your friends and family, and help spread our voices to lift up others and help them rise up out of their current situation and live their best life. Good morning. This morning I want to talk to you about fear. There's so much going on in this world that can cause fear. There's so much going on in our lives that impacts our choices and our decisions to step out of our comfort zone and do great things. This is also the time of year, the day I'm recording this right here on live video is actually Good Friday. And there was a lot of fear that day about what was happening and what was going to happen to our Christ that day. And as we know, going forward is that he rise up. He takes advice. That's kind of where a lot of this comes from, where my philosophy of choose to rise. We need to rise up out of our current situation and live our best life because we can. Our Christ rose before us, and we have the opportunity to rise up to meet the expectations and the standards and the things that, and the purposes that he put in our hearts and our minds and in us when God created us. So that's all kind of ties together. Isn't that a wonderful thing? But today I want to talk to you about overcoming fear. That same W. Clement Stone quote, thinking will not overcome fear, but action will. So a lot of times you hear me talk about you have to believe in yourself, and which is so totally true. You do need to believe in yourself that you are capable of doing the things that you want to do, but you also have to take action. You can't just think things to come happen and true. You have to do something about them as well. And my shirt today says, I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me. You have to believe that it's possible. You have to know that you're willing and you're able to do it. And then you also have to do something about it to get there. I'm going to give you a few tips today about how to kind of 5 helpful tips or things to take action on, things that has helped me move forward in things in my day and my life, and help me move forward towards my goals. And I want to help give you the confidence to go forward and do things as well. So if you already know how to do what you want to do, if you already have the skill set to do things and you're just kind of stagnant, you're just kind of sitting there, you're just kind of waiting, think about taking action. You got to do something in order to get what you want. So if you, try applying these things to anything else that you have in your life that you are wanting to do here. So kind of stepping outside of fear and stop letting fear hold you back. Because we talked last time about how fear is your number one excuse. And if you missed that episode, head back to the podcast and see episode 104 for that. But here we are starting. The first one is start at the beginning. One reason why we hesitate when we have something that we're afraid of to do is because we're thinking only about the end result and it likely feel incapable of getting to that point of where we are now. So we often look at the path of here's where we want to be and we're stuck at the beginning, and we focus so much on what the end result's going to look like that we often forget about the small steps that go along the way. So start at the beginning. You may feel like that end goal is so far away. If you have like 100 pounds to lose or 50 pounds to lose, or if you have this huge financial goal that you have, or you have a mountain of debt that you want to get rid of, that can seem super overwhelming and hold you in place. But if you take your focus off the end goal, you need to know what that end goal is going to look like and kind of envision yourself getting there, but you have to start at the beginning. And the more you focus on all the little actions to get to the end result, the less likely you are to actually take any steps. So just focus on the first step and start there. Know where you want to go, but then focus on the first step and get going. The second thing that you need to do is remember that small steps count too. Each action step doesn't have to be big. It can be a small step over time. Your brain, your ego, of that limiting, fearful part within you is trying to convince you that your steps are too small, that you're just not ever going to get there because you're taking too small of steps. But that's not true. Every small step gets you going. Whether a toddler is walking across the room or an adult is walking across the room, regardless of how many steps it actually takes to get there, they're both going to get there. Tortoise and the hare, same kind of thing. Doesn't matter how fast you get there, as long as you get there. And the people that often get there quickly are the ones the quick fixes, the things that just happen for them. They have so much talent and then they waste it away, is because they don't appreciate the process. And even the tortoise that gets there to the end, he actually wins the race because he takes small steps at a time. He keeps going. He just takes action and he knows where he's going. He has that vision for the end, but he's not focused on the end. He's focusing on just taking action. So small steps count too. Every accomplishment, every birthday cake we bake, every book we publish, everything we learn how to do and to acquire the skills necessary to get to the end goal, all of that is moving forward. And yes, quick fixes don't last. You're so true, Terry. Every accomplishment we take, it gets to where we want to go. So learning about the process to get where you need to go, spending time every day studying the tasks that you want to accomplish, what are the things that you can schedule into your day that are going to help move you forward all the time. All the small steps build up to ultimately learning how to do what you want to do, get to the goal that you actually want to get to. So don't forget the small stuff. And then 3, realize it's how you feel. That's what you want to do. You don't have to feel afraid while you take action steps. One of my obstacles of thinking about getting to my end goal is that kind of kept me from taking action was being terrified. The fear that sets in, and those quick pulses, the handshaking, the shallow breath, still not taking action. Those things are the things that keep you aside. The swirling thoughts in your head of like, I could have, should have, maybe I shouldn't, set all of that aside. It's the steps that count. It's not how you feel when you take them. So I had to do something kind of scary this last couple weeks. I had to address something with some people and share some news. And with one person in particular, I was really nervous about it because I care deeply about this person. And she said to me, "You're breathing really heavy." And I was like, I know. You're the hardest person to tell this information to. And by the time we got through the conversation, my breath was all back to normal. But if I would have let the fear overcome me and not just taken action and not just push through it anyway, it wouldn't have ended the way it started. So I'm glad that I pushed through. I'm glad that I took the steps. I'm glad that I realized how I was feeling was just an indicator of my body trying to stop. But what I really need to do is keep moving. So it's the steps that count. It's not necessarily how you feel. When you want to get through something, you have to just keep moving forward. And if you're able to go through the lesson one step further in the journey and decide that you're going to celebrate the end when you get there, also remember that in spite of fear, rather than judging yourself as a failure of how your nerves are playing in you, really focus on the steps that you're taking and the action, the progress that you're making along the way. So number 4 is get high on taking action. This is a magically wonderful high that occurs when you've taken action and you're afraid to take. So, celebrate the small wins, basically. When you are getting through there, be excited about the fact that you're making movement, that you're getting closer to the end goal. I'm not really sure how many of you have experienced this kind of thing, but talking to other people who have done great things, even when things that terrified them, I found that I'm not alone in really noticing this, that when you get through something that's really hard, you should feel proud. You should feel excited. You should feel happy about accomplishing that thing because you didn't let fear stand in your way. And so, make an incentive that leads you to a happy moment. Give yourself a victory prize for getting so far. Break that really big goal that you have down into small parts, and then celebrate the small wins as you get there along the way. Because it is the small pieces that will ultimately end up being the amazing thing at the end. And number 5, the last one I want to share with you is know that action builds confidence. So many people are saying, when I have the confidence to do it, I will do so. When I believe that it's possible, that's when I'll do it. But guess what? Deciding to take action to overcome a fearing whatever it is in your life is not only meant to be a new skill, it's also it brings you the confidence to go along with it. So handling mistakes, working towards achieving the goal, meeting new people, doing new things in your life, all of those things are going to help build the confidence for you to get to where you want to be. Action has many unintended opportunities for growth beyond the specific area of which we're working on. In the action stage, we test our hypothesis about life and about ourselves and know that we can accomplish anything once we can achieve this. So it's in the action stage that we are growing confidence about ourselves and our abilities. And it's in the action stage that we take and we find out what our mistakes are, and we can experiment with how we're going to get much stronger. We can learn from those mistakes. We talked before about how failure is not something that should be bad. Failure is actually something that helps us learn. And when we can make those mistakes and we can learn from them, we can figure out a new way. We can grow in knowledge, we can grow in strength, we can grow in confidence because we know a new way. Now we know how not to get there, and we can help other people get to where they want to go if it's the same place you're going, easier as well because you know how not to get there. It's kind of like wearing down a path in the grass or wearing down a path someplace. You now know that that's the place to get there. So when you kind of think about when you go places, a hike or whatever, somebody has created a trail for you, and there may be an off the beaten path kind of trail, and that may be a place to go, but you sometimes get to a point where it stops because someone's realized that's not how we get to where this is, and they've backtracked, and that's okay. That's an example of someone giving it a go, seeing if is going to work for them. And it's maybe a mistake. Maybe it was something they learned amazing there, but they learned from it and they were able to keep going. So today when I say to you, I know how to be confident, it's not because I've just woke up that way. It's because I've figured out ways to gain that confidence. I've grown in so many different opportunities to move towards a way of getting to where I need to go because I look forward to getting out of my comfort zone. I look forward to strengthening my body and my mind, and I dig into personal development, and I share with you all the time about how it's a rewarding thing to take action and move forward. So if I am ever in the position of wanting to go forward and do things, I come back to this. I come back to taking action. I come back to looking where my end goal is, breaking it apart to the pieces that I can attain, and then tackling one small thing at a time. I don't want to eat the whole elephant all at once. I want to take small bites and get there. But in order to actually eat the elephant, you have to take a bite. So I hope today that you get something out of these ramblings on this Good Friday. And that you are able to overcome your fear, that you're able to take the action steps needed to get to where you want to go. Things are not just going to be handed to you. Christ created you, God created you as a great being with lots of talent and lots of purpose and lots of skills in order to get there. It's just our job to actually take action and go for it. So I hope today that you have a wonderful Friday, that if you're listening to the podcast version, you have a wonderful day. I hope you share this with someone who needs to hear it. I hope that you take action to reach your goals. obstacles, even if it's a small step, because small steps do add up to the big things in the end, and that you are overcoming whatever it is that's in your life today, that you rise up to be your best self. If you have anything that you'd want to chit-chat with me about or share, or a topic that you'd like me to discuss here on Public House Media, please email me at choosetoriseUp@gmail.com. I'd be happy to connect with you. I love hearing from my listeners and knowing that you are loving the content that I put out every day. So I'm here on Public House Media Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm on my own page, Choose to Rise, at Facebook on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can always catch me at choosetoriseUp.com or shoot me an email and we can chit chat there. I hope you have a fantastic day, that you end your March well, and that you have just a wonderful Easter weekend. Thanks for joining me this morning. Talk to you later.